Now you have finished building an initial business model and now need to test and validate the repository before continuing. You begin by checking the repository for errors using the consistency checking option. Next, you load the repository into the Oracle Business Intelligence Server memory. Then you test the repository by running an Oracle BI analysis and verifying the results. Finally, you examine the query log file to observe the SQL generated by the Oracle BI server. To test and validate a repository, you perform the following steps. You will check the consistency, disable caching, load the repository, set up query logging, create and run an analysis, and check the query log. Let's go ahead and perform the first step, checking consistency. We'll bring up the repository as we created it, and going forward I'll refer to the repository as the RPD so that we become used to industry terminology. The first step that we want to do is to select File, then you scroll down and check for global consistency, which is this one here, and you can see that there's also a shortcut in which you can bring it up, which is Control K, and click on Check Consistency. Business model paint is consistent. Do you want to mark it available for queries? So this message shows us that there were no errors that have been found in the business model as well as in the presentation layer of the repository or the RPD. And yes, we want to mark it available for queries. So go ahead and click yes. If you see a message such as this, consistency check fixed certain objects, there are no errors, warnings, or best practice violations left to report, it means that there might have been very minor missteps or missteps that were performed in the process, which the software went ahead and fixed in our favor. So we'll go ahead and click OK, and this turns the business model into green, which means that it's now available to be queried if it were loaded to the BI server at this point. If you did not receive the message that consistency check did not find any errors, warnings, or best practice violations, you must fix any consistency check errors or warnings reported before proceeding. Otherwise, you will face a lot of challenges in trying to create reports in the analytics of the Oracle Business Intelligence software. So the next step is to save the repository without checking global consistency again. So go ahead and click on the save icon. Do you wish to check global consistency? Here we say no. And that saves the Oracle BI administration too. If you wish to close out of the RPD, all we'll do is to choose File and then Exit, or if you prefer to use an icon, you would go to the red box and click here, the X to close out of the file. For now, we'll leave it open and save it as is on the desktop. To start your business intelligence software, you will have to go to your File or Programs. Under All Programs, we'll go to the section that says Oracle Business Intelligence. Oracle Business Intelligence. And then under Oracle Business Intelligence, we will choose the Start BI Services. On my computer, I've already created shortcuts on the desktop. So all I simply do is I just go ahead and right-click those icons to start the process, and then when the entire business intelligence software starts, you will have two command windows open with running credits up, and once the software has successfully started, you'll be looking for these words, running mode. Once running mode comes up, then it means that all the servers that support the business intelligence software are up and running and you are ready to use the analytics. So we'll go ahead and close out this Chrome window and we'll open the Firefox window, because this is what we'll be using. Firefox or Internet Explorer are recommended browsers for working with the analytics. I have already created some shortcuts on my computer on either to log in into the BI Analytics, or to log in into the Enterprise Manager, or to log into the BI Publisher, or finally to log into the Administration Console. For disabling the caching, we want to go to the Enterprise Manager, so I'll go ahead and click on the tab that says Enterprise Manager, and we'll give it a few seconds for the Enterprise Manager login window to come up. Once the Enterprise Manager Fusion Middleware Control window comes up, we want to type WebLogic, and this is a user that automatically was created at the time of installation of your software. And then we'll use the same password, admin123, and remembering that the first letter is uppercase. Got a login error, so let's go ahead and try to choose WebLogic again and then log in. So identifying target, it looks like the login was successful this time, and the reason being that I made an error, missed one letter in the password. That's the reason why the initial attempt failed, but we're able to get it right on the second attempt. Okay, so this is what you want to see when you log into the Enterprise Manager for the first time. Everything under deployments should show green. If you see anything red, it means that there's something wrong. One of your servers is down, and you do not want to proceed until you fix that and everything shows green. In the left navigation pane, expand Business Intelligence and click Core Application. Remember that this action demonstrates disabling of caching, which is the second option in testing and validating the repository. So while the core application is coming up, it's worthwhile to recall that the purpose of this step is to demonstrate different ways in which you can test and validate your RPD. On the new window that opens, click Capacity Management. Under the Capacity Management, you will select Performance if it's not already selected for you. Then locate the Enable BI Server Cache. This is a portion that talks about enabling the cache. You will notice that enabling the server cache can greatly improve performance by enabling users who share data visibility to retrieve raw sets from queries that have already been run at the cost of the possibility of seeing stale data. So there's a risk there, and we will talk about that risk as we go on in this lesson. Click Lock and Edit Configuration. Click Close. Deselect Cache Enabled. Caching is typically not used during development. Disabling cache improve query performance. So we're going to go ahead and deselect the cache, and then we want to click Apply. And the next step is to click Activate Changes. So we'll give it a minute, and we'll click Close when we receive the message Activate Changes Completed. And we'll click Close here.